Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome back to day 2 of the open source stage. I'm niftynei. I work at a project called Base 58, which is a dev engineering school built on the Bitcoin standard. I'm here today with our 3 lovely guests to talk about Lightning, the path forward. Joining me today is Jesse Shrader of Amboss Technologies, Roy Sheinfeld of Breez, and Aditya Sharma, an OpenSats grantee working on the Lightning Spec protocol. Welcome, y'all. Good morning.
Welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. In order to start, maybe it'd be kind of fun for you to all give us a little bit of background on what you're working on at your project. Yeah, that's a good place to start.
Sure. I'm Jesse Shrader, CEO, co-founder of Amboss Technologies. And overall, what we do is we provide insights to Lightning node operators and help them get connected on the Lightning Network.
I'm Roy from Breez. We do Lightning stuff. Basically, we want to help Bitcoin transform from a store of value to a medium of exchange. And we provide tools for developers to embed Lightning payments in their apps, solutions, services.
Hi, everyone. I'm Aditya Sharma. I'm an open source developer. I work on the Lightning Network protocol. I have contributed to CLN in the past, and I'm working on a feature called peer storage backups, which helps to recover some funds in case of severe data loss of a Lightning node. Thank you.
So everyone's working at slightly different parts of the stack, which I think is really cool, and different aspects of the network. So maybe one thing that I think is kind of fun for people to understand is like how or what made you excited about working in Lightning in the first place. So maybe if you could tell us a little bit about maybe where you first heard about Lightning and what made you want to start working on the problem that you've been working on currently. Jesse, do you want to start?
Sure. When I started using Bitcoin, I immediately started to notice some issues when it comes to user experience on spending. And learning about the Lightning Network, I realized that it really gave Bitcoin superpowers. It gave it connectivity to other layers, protocols. It gave it scale to help more transactions, and then it's also helped with reach. So that was really what inspired me to get into the Lightning Network.
For me, Lightning is Bitcoin, so I don't see a clear distinction between working on Bitcoin and working on Lightning. So I think it's very important for people to understand that when you do a Lightning payment, you're actually making a Bitcoin transaction. So I'm working on Lightning because I'm working on Bitcoin, and I want Bitcoin to realize Satoshi's vision of peer-to-peer electronic cash.
Right. So I was a software developer, and while I was in college, I got an opportunity to do an internship with a program called Summer of Bitcoin under the core maintainer of Core Lightning, Rusty Russell. So that was the first entering point of me in Lightning Network, and since then I love the ideology, I love the project, I love the work culture. So I've been working on it since then.
Very cool. So Aditya, was working on Lightning your first time working in open source?
Yes.
That's cool. And you got into it through the Summer of Bitcoin, basically? Yeah. That's cool. Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit about why the project you're working on is an important one for Lightning?
All right. So to give you the context, the database of Lightning is highly volatile. And if you lose the database, you lose all the funds that you have in your channel. So, and that's a problem of Lightning. That's a well-known problem. Now, the feature that I am working on, peer storage backups, helps to create a safety net for the network. So basically, you can distribute some amount of data among your peers so that if your database is lost and you lose all your data, you can get your node back up, and all of it is encrypted, right? So that's secure as well. So you can fetch the data, and you can try recovering your funds that were in your channel. Right now, we are using emergency recover, which is an alias for static channel backups in Core Lightning. There are some extended ideas to update it more frequent and maybe create a penalty transactions as well when we scale it. Yeah.
So you would say, like, if you're running a Lightning node and something happens to your node, you're working on a protocol that'll make it easier to recover from problems to your disk, for example, that sort of thing. Roy, what kind of problems would you say that you're currently working on with Breez for Lightning?
Where do I start? Maybe before we dive into the specific implementation technical problems that we're handling, I think it's important in this context, in the open source stage, where everyone here is talking about the Bitcoin prices and treasuries and Bitcoin going to, what was the number Saylor mentioned yesterday? I don't know what. I think it's important to go back to the basis and understand that Bitcoin needs to be moved. Bitcoin needs to be spread. We need to use Bitcoin as cash. And basically, what we do here, the people that are sitting in the panel, is providing you the ability to use Bitcoin as cash as easily, as seamlessly as you do in fiat, just with a better form of money. So there's a lot of problem in getting to a user experience that is on par with fiat, and we've gotten very far with the user experience of Lightning. There are still challenges, and when I say Lightning, I mean self-custodial Lightning. So at Breez, we're very much focused on self-custodial Lightning in order to allow you to hold Bitcoin as an asset and move it around. The problems that we're currently tackling are all around user experience issues, making it easier and easier, more and more frictionless for you to hold and spend your Bitcoin.
So you mentioned that you are building a self-custodial solution for this, for apps, like for mobile developers, right? What are some of the things that make doing self-custody for Lightning challenging?
So let's start. Lightning requires you to run a node. It requires you to be online. It's very complicated to have something that runs online always 24/7 that you control. One alternative that we have is using a mobile device. So when you have a personal computer in your pocket, you basically can run a node in your pocket. So we started at Breez, we started by taking a Lightning node and forking it in order for you to be able to run a Lightning node in your pocket. The mobile solution has a lot of limitations because of mobile operating systems. You're not always connected to the internet, even if you have a mobile device. You're being gatekept by the mobile operating system, specifically by Apple and Google, in terms of how much CPU you get, when do you get a CPU. I think people don't understand how much our day-to-day lives is dictated by Google and Apple. Basically, only the experiences that Google and Apple approve, that's the experiences that we as users are exposed to, because the Apple iStore and the Google Play, they expose the vehicles, the interfaces that we can use in our day-to-day life. So running a Lightning node on a mobile device in a way that is approved by Google and Apple, it's a huge challenge. And basically, if you want, we can go into the technical details of opening channels, closing channels, making offline payments, but these are the areas that we're focused on.
Very cool, yeah. Maybe we can come back to that, these difficulties of opening and closing channels and offline receive stuff. But Jesse, why don't you tell us about the problems in Lightning that you guys are working on over at Amboss?
Yeah, so like the first problems were just like getting connected to other nodes on the network to actually make the payments work. And then as for businesses, really they were focused on payment operations and how do they manage risk and whatnot and really scale The next problem that we're really focused on is actually delivering reach. So how can I bring Bitcoin to the rest of the world? How can I bring it to the 330 million people that are unbanked in Latin America and actually map this incredible technology that builders have been working on and solve real problems for real people, which is saving and spending money and using the Lightning Network and in self-custody, which Roy alluded to. Because the reality is that custodians, especially in the US, have failed because we've had to change apps. We've had to explain it to our friends and our family that, the app, you need to change that. You need to move your money. And their takeaway is that Bitcoin is broken. But I can tell you right now that Bitcoin is not broken because we have the Lightning Network, which gives Bitcoin these superpowers to actually reach the rest of the world.
Yeah, that's a great point. And I think one of the kind of cool common threads that you guys have been pulling at here is the importance of having Lightning in a self-custodial manner. Some of the challenges around that, though, I think people start getting into like, well, are we going to be able to open enough channels for everyone? Like, some of the trade-offs of being able to have a self-custodial Lightning node in a way that we're able to use the projects that like Aditya is working on, et cetera, requires you to have, I guess, like some of the limitations there are what exactly? Like, what are the challenges around having self-custodial Lightning solutions, I guess, is a good question.
Really, of course we could talk about liquidity and connectivity, but really it's how do you scale Bitcoin payments and how do you easily receive money and how do you do that at scale? And the way that we've been looking to solve that is using markets. And so, we've got our Magma marketplace to help people easily receive money, and it uses a market solution. And like broader, there's incredible LSP work that is being done, Lightning service providers. But really, the market is there. The institutional money is there that is looking to take their Bitcoin and use it to provide payments infrastructure where they get yields out of it. And what it means for people is that they can spend and receive money. They can receive Bitcoin. And that's basically what we're faced.
So you're using markets to help people figure out how to get the liquidity they need to make payments work on Lightning?
Yeah, like who do you connect to? I've got this Bitcoin. Who can I allocate it towards so that they can start receiving instant payments using the Lightning Network?
Yeah. Roy, you guys are working on the LSP specs, is that right? Do you want to talk a little bit maybe about what the LSP spec process is and how that relates to this idea of building a marketplace for liquidity for Lightning so people can stay self-custodial?
Absolutely. So let's just take a step back and explain what an LSP is. An LSP is a Lightning service provider. So I actually came out with the concept of an LSP in 2019. And the idea was to help end users to connect to the Lightning Network easily, exactly like you connect to the internet. You don't know how you're connected to the internet. You just have your modem at home, and you plug in the cord to a socket, and you're magically connected to a network called the internet. All the stuff that are required in order to get you connected to the internet is done by an entity called an ISP. And an ISP is the mitigator between an end user and the internet. We brought the same concept to the Lightning Network. So there's a magical entity called an LSP, and the LSP take care of all the stuff that end users don't need to care about in order to connect to the Lightning Network. So LSP essentially make it very, very easy and seamless for end users to connect to the Lightning Network. You've mentioned what are the problems that exist in order to connect to Lightning and run a self-custodial nodes. There's no problems with an LSP. You just download an app and you're magically connected to the Lightning Network. However, there are still user experience issues. And specifically, I think LSP has shifted the problems from technical issues to economical issues. Because the Lightning Network, as we said, using the Lightning Network is using Bitcoin. And in order to use Lightning, you need to first open a channel. An LSP uses a channel in order to connect end users to the Lightning Network, and that channel costs money. Okay. And the cost is correlated to the Bitcoin transaction, to the fees cost that exist in the Lightning in the Bitcoin main chain. So the question becomes economical. Is it economical enough for an LSP to connect end users to the Lightning Network? And when the fees are low, it's not a big problem. When the fees are 30 cents to $1, yes, of course you can carry the fee. But what happens if the Bitcoin fees are spiking because of ordinal runes, and let's hope in the future because everyone is using Bitcoin? Then a UTXO, the on-chain transaction, can cost a lot of money. It can also cost hundreds and thousands of dollars. What do we do then? So I think the focus of all the ecosystem right now is how do we solve that economical problem. And the only way to solve that is either share the cost of a UTXO or compromise and not use UTXO, use other artifact to build the Lightning Network on. So,
I mean, does this mean that the Lightning Network is going to have like a limit to how useful it is depending on the economic reality of it, or are there ways that we can get around it?
Block space by definition is limited. So I hope that we'll be able to scale Lightning to, it's already scaled to millions of users. We want to scale it to hundreds of millions and to billions of users. When we'll get to that point, yes, we'll have a block space limit issue, and the cost of joining the network will be very high. Then we'll need to find a way to federate that cost.
That makes sense. Cool. Aditya, you're working on how people can store backups, right? So you're not really connected to this liquidity market as much. You're more connected to keeping nodes online and running with backups and stuff. What are some of the limitations or problems that you've seen with this peer backup project that you're working on that you think we're going to need to overcome?
All right. So I feel in general at the protocol level, there needs to be many improvement to solve some of the limitations. Like Roy suggested, every time the node has to be 24/7 online to receive or send payments. Each time you send or receive a payment, you get 4 updates, which has to be written on the disk, and you have to make sure that they are written on the disk and reach the disk as well. The data grows unbounded. So these are some of the known limitations of Lightning. But I feel there are many solutions as well for these, like for the liquidity thing, your idea of liquidity ads, of creating a free market for liquidity is a good one. To solve this unbounded data, I think splicing is helpful, because when you splice out, you can throw away all the previous data that you have, so that the data doesn't grow unbounded. And with covenants in the L2 can also be a possibility in future. So there are many exciting solutions for the limitations that are there, and a lot of things need to be done. In terms of peer storage backups, I feel since right now we are limited to 60 KBs of data on the node, we need to think about how to scale it for bigger nodes who have large number of channels. One of them could be using error connection code and distribute it among your peers, and maybe having a route hint at the end when you distribute it among your peers. So yeah, I think there are many limitations, but we are very early in this space, and a lot of things are right now going on. So I feel we'll fix it.
Cool. Yeah, that's a great thing. It's a great project to be working on, for sure. Yeah. I think Aditya brought up an interesting question. Jesse and Roy, do you guys have any protocol updates or projects that people are working on that you know about, or that are in the pipeline, or maybe in the process of being shipped, that you think are interesting in terms of helping solve some of the challenges and issues with Lightning today? Or is there something that you think maybe we could be working on that we aren't?
Yeah, for us, I think what we really need is to deliver this technology to as many people as possible, and Bitcoiners are the key to doing that, and delivering this tech, but really getting the tools right and into self-custody and delivering Lightning technology to them is the most critical element. And so today we're launching mibanco.app. And it's a website that you go to and have a simple sign up to get direct self-custody and be able to receive and send Lightning payments. So you'll be able to send and receive Bitcoin and save it and be able to reach your friends and family. So if you want to try it out, we've got a closed beta, and the referral code is the most important technology out there. It's Bitcoin.
Great. Super exciting. Congrats. And so people, if they want to download Mibanco, the app, they go to mibanco.app, and the code is?
Yeah, it's a website, mibanco.app. You don't have to download anything. The referral code is Bitcoin. And so we're limiting it to 100 people that can access it today and give us feedback. If you want to move money across borders, remittances, we definitely want your feedback. So that's who we're really looking forward to participating in this.
Super cool. Awesome. Thanks, Jesse. Great. Do you guys have any other announcements or anything that you're shipping as well, Roy?
Not really, but to developers in the crowd, Breez is building. If everyone is plugging their solution, I'll plug mine. Breez is building tools for developers to incorporate Lightning payments into their applications. It will make it very easy for developers to send and receive, to enable their users to send and receive Bitcoin. So if you have a service, if you have a mobile app, if you have a solution that you want to work and include payments in it, use the best money out there, use Bitcoin, and you can use our SDK, which is completely open source, to do that.
So your audience and users are developers that are looking to help their people using their applications send and receive Bitcoin?
I think the way to get to people adopt Bitcoin is through technology. And I think developers are the best agents to do that. We don't know what the potential of Bitcoin is. If we use it as a medium of exchange, I think it has an endless potential, because it means that we can move money, we can move value at the speed of the internet. And this is a solution that doesn't exist in the market. But we need to get it to the right people, so it will be easy for them to build solutions on top of that. And that's what we're basically trying to do.
Very cool. Great. And then, Aditya, is there anything that you think people should contribute to or help out or test for the protocol project you're working on?
Well, my protocol spec PR is about to be merged into the Lightning RFC GitHub. So you guys can check it out if any of you are interested. I'm right now working on implementing it for LDK as well. That pull request is also almost completed. Since I'm an open source developer, this is what I can advertise here.
What are you working on, Lisa?
Currently, I'm working on an upcoming conference for eCash called Bitcoin Plus, which will be in Berlin, October 10th to 12th. Also working on a Bitcoin education project called Base 58. So we have a game, and working on we have some Udemy classes up online if you want to learn about how Layer 1 transactions work and the cryptography behind them. So you can check us out at base58, BASAE 58.school. Yeah.
I also want to, you asked me about the LSP spec and I didn't answer. And there's a reason I didn't answer, because after 2 years of working on an LSP spec, we're circling back to the liquidity ads that you came out with 2 years ago. So
Oh, that's very exciting to hear. So it sounds like one of the protocol projects that would be useful for this liquidity problem or liquidity allocation concern or challenge that Lightning has would be liquidity ad spec. So that's exciting. And Bastian's been doing a lot of work on that from a song. Yeah.
Definitely, the async team and the Phoenix world is trailblazing the ease of use of Lightning on mobile devices.
Yeah, so that'll help with mobile devices. Yeah, that's right. Cool. So it sounds like I think we're wrapping up, but it sounds like some of the frontiers for Lightning are definitely applications to get people online, like the mibanco app that Amboss is launching. So congratulations. The liquidity stuff and basically providing tools to developers to create great applications and user experiences to make accessing Lightning more accessible. And then we've got people like Aditya that are working on some really interesting new frontiers and protocols. His particular project will help people who are already running nodes have some assurance that if something is to happen, they'll be able to come back online and be able to find where their channels were with their peers. Do you guys have any final comments before we go?
I just want to say to the people sitting in the audience, do your research, understand what Bitcoin really is, understand that Bitcoin is the best money out there not because it's a new digital code, but because it can be moved between entities without any intermediaries and third-party involvement. That's what we need. The world needs a global currency, which is peer-to-peer electronic cash. And I think that the solutions that we can build on top of that are endless, and that's what freedom really means.
Thank you so much to all the builders and developers that have made this technology, and thank you to those that are pushing that and building accessibility and the tools to help this technology reach the rest of the world. And thank you, Lisa, for an incredible panel and your work on liquidity ads, which is huge.
All right. So if there are any developers who are looking to getting on board on this Lightning network, it's a great opportunity. It's a dynamic field, and we need more developers in the ecosystem. And I would like to thank Lisa. I remember we used to do weekly calls where she would be guiding me. I wouldn't be here if she didn't do all of those things. So thank you so much for that. Glad to be here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, y'all.